Good morning, YouTube. It's been a while since I've done an engine swap. I've been focusing on some of the Legendary Motors vehicles. I thought today we'd focus on the Amuse 380. I don't know if it's an engine swap platform. I mean, the base car. I believe they might have just bored out the original Nissan motor. These were 350s, and it was bored out to, I think it's a 3,892 cc's right now, but I've also done all the upgrades. So I think this one was right around 380 when I started, or 3,800 cc's when I started it. Anyway, the LS Rampage motor is one of them that's allowed to go into this car now, so we've got that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this onto Suzuka. I think what I'm going to start doing with these is custom races. That way we can get a better overall control of what we're doing here. So let's leave all this alone. What I want to do is start adding in fuel consumption and tire wear. And let's go with, let's go with 3. That seems like a reasonable 3-lap type of thing. Because I don't want to burn it out of gas. I just want to see how aggressively it's pulling the gas. And since this is going to be our first time doing this, we'll kind of get an idea, but we won't know how it compares to the others. Also, I may not stick with Suzuka circuit, but I might start just running the same course as well, just to get a better overall comparison. You know what I didn't do, and it's going to cause us problems, is I didn't change the transmission ratios. I need to stretch that out. So let me do that real quick. So we're stretching. But I don't want to change too much on this the platform, so we'll do 350. That sounds about right. Let's do 380. That's what this car is, right? So we'll do the 380. And let's we actually don't need to reset it up. We're good. Cool. I like that. So this is the Super Leggera, which translates to, I guess it's from Italian, but it translates to super light. Oh man, this engine sounds great. This is the factory variant, so try to get a little space around these guys. I might like the V6 sound more than the V8 once we're in the other car. Nose felt a little heavy there, but that's probably because I was braking while turning. I need to be braking earlier. car feels great. It feels balanced. It feels, I mean, I don't know if balanced is the right word. It feels a little nose heavy, but I like front engine cars anyway. Oh. Yeah. So there we got on the gas a little early, and with the weight being a little bit more forward, it was happy to let the back end come around. I've been playing a lot with the cappuccino, so with the RX-7 motor in it, so I don't know. I mean, that might be part of why this car feels a little heavy to me now. So one of the things this car has is on the left there, you got the 2 layers of gauges, and one set's offset, it's kind of floating out in front of you. You can kind of see that when it's in the garage. It's a weird design. I was kind of curious how you would actually be able to see all the sets of gauges. But it actually did a pretty good job of it, and it's a kind of nice effect when the whole chassis is kind of shifting around on you. You can see that there's that dual layer there. I think this car, this specific one, I won through a roulette prize. I ended up buying the second one for the swap. I don't know when this car came into Gran Turismo, but it's been in previous iterations. So it's got a slight tendency to push going into the corner, and it's got the potential to oversteer coming out. So it actually is a pretty nice setup without touching anything. It seems like it's got a decent amount of power. It's not overwhelming the chassis or anything like that. That was our best lap. What did we do there? Okay, so 206 and a half. Yeah, nice car. Let's go ahead and swap out. Before that, we'll take a quick look at the power curves, things like that. So let's see here. So we need to remember a 206 and a half. We're rounding because it just makes more sense. I don't know if this matters. Yeah, okay. So we can Look into our settings real quick. Cars, uh, the weight's 2355, 519 horsepower, 350 torque. Let's see what the power band looks like. This is a naturally aspirated car. That's probably part of the reason it sounds so good. So very, very linear, very flat torque curve. 5347 weight distribution. So yeah, a little nose heavy, but not. It doesn't make it a bad car. It's almost more predictable. So now it looks like we're doubling our horsepower, adding 50 pounds. I mean, that's a no-brainer. 50 extra pounds for twice the power. Let's hop in, and you can see this is a supercharged car now. So this has I put the high torque supercharger in there, or high RPM. I don't remember how they actually classify it. So let's go ahead and check out our settings. First thing, let's make sure we adjust our transmission here. So yeah, 50 extra pounds. Wow, more than double the torque, double the horsepower. Yeah, that's more than double the horsepower just by barely. It's a much more sweeping curve, and you can see horsepower and torque plummet after. This is where I wish they had the gradients along the bottom, because you can see. But I mean, the car's redlining around 9,000 RPM, but we should be shifting way before that. So, I mean, what is that? 8, 7? It's hard to say because you don't have a scale there, other than I know it's somewhere between 9 grand and 11. So we could guess that's about a fifth of the way down. So I mean, I don't want to math our way through this, but you can see like that they really need to put a scale in there. Because I would totally change the driving dynamics of this car. I'd be shifting at a certain RPM instead of trying to redline this thing. This thing is not going to be happy with a redline. We don't care about that. Let's back out. Go back into our custom race. And this one I did I wanted to change them a little bit so we could kind of see the difference in the paint scheme. With the way this company is, they're after lightweight, and I believe they have a couple cars that are actually full carbon. So I just went with a carbon. Where's our? We did ×3. And ×3. And I didn't overly see where we were at. I think we lost a quarter of a tank of gas in 3 laps. So not too bad. Tires, they weren't too bad. But yeah, I went with carbon just because like a bare carbon look on this thing. I haven't done anything otherwise. But I think they actually have a couple cars they've built that way. You can see the caliber of opponents has changed pretty dramatically on this too. And they are not going to be able to cut it for this car. The car felt good right away, but I wasn't flooring it either. And it does sound good. I'm not going to lie about that either. I mean, I like the sound of the V6. This car sounds fine. You have power to spare for sure. You don't necessarily want to floor this thing. and right away on our outlap we're faster than the other car was, which shouldn't be too surprising when you double the output of the engine, torque and in horsepower. But the chassis is taking it real well too. Like it doesn't feel like the engine doesn't belong in this car. The balance hasn't really shifted. The feel of the car hasn't really changed, which you would, not expect much change noticeable either with a 50-pound change. That's adding a supercharger, intercooler, engine, like 2 more cylinders. So it's pretty impressive. I didn't look at the balance of the car, the weight distribution, but I can't imagine it really changed with a 50-pound change in overall weight. And I don't feel it either way. It does have a 6-speed, so we could have actually even shifted our transmission ratios back a little bit if you wanted more acceleration. But this is just to compare the 2 cars, so it really doesn't matter. .204. Yeah, the car doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel bad. I don't feel like I ruined the car. There's a lot of these cars, and this is no setup. This is nothing. I didn't lower the car. I didn't do anything other than adjust the transmission to allow more power and higher top speed. There's nothing on this car that's jumping out that's telling me I need to make some adjustments to make it drivable. Like the Cappuccino in contrast with the RX-7 motor, I love the way it drives now, but it's been, I have put a lot of time into the setup. I actually got somebody else's setup and then put time into that to make it feel the way I wanted it to feel. This is out of the box. You just gotta watch your throttle input. So up next we'll be comparing this against the DeLorean, which will be kind of fun because it's very, very different vehicles. But these are the 2 vehicles that allow for this Rampage engine swap. I haven't even bought the Rampage yet, so I think it's a Camaro, like a 78 or something along those lines. I didn't see our last lap, but I know we crushed. We were 2 seconds up on the previous laps, and I didn't see the gas. You can always back up and see how the fuel was. I didn't notice it, so it doesn't look like it was really killing the fuel. Oh yeah, we took over 3 seconds off, 3.5 seconds. So that's pretty impressive. And granted, the category of the car changed pretty dramatically too. I believe. Let's take a quick look. But I believe it jumped like 80 performance points, so it's not necessarily something where it's going to be selecting which car you want to run for a specific race. They're going to exclude each other. Yeah, so 800, which is it's good because there's a lot of 800 performance point races. These are running soft tires, so one of the first things I would do is swap out the tires anyway, and then just for longer lap races, and then the other one, yeah, the other one's down 75 points, rounding. So very different performance, which is clear just by the numbers. But the good news on this car is it doesn't get destroyed based on the engine swap. The engine swap feels great in this car just with the stock. It's not stock. I mean, I would put all the parts on it, but I haven't done any tweaking on that car at all other than the transmission extension where I'm extending the gears. So it's a great feeling car just the way it is, and you can kind of dial it in from there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one.